welcome to Tommy Talks Arsenal. If you do like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe please. I'm trying to hit 100 subs, small potatoes, but I love my chips. All of you count massively. I can't thank you enough for joining me on the journey, and thank you again for tuning in today. You might have noticed I've got a bit of a shaggy beard going on. I look a bit of a tramp. I can't help that, unfortunately. I'm growing it for Christmas. It's the same every year. You can laugh if you like, everyone does. I don't blame you. It's not a good vibe. I look like a homeless person, but yep, that's going to be going for a couple more weeks yet, and we're going to have to just roll with it. This week I'm going to talk about the Bournemouth game from last weekend. Lots went on, didn't it? We'll have a look at Lens from last night, a disappointing result, and the Man City fixture in game week 8. I'll also review my fantasy Premier League team. I did quite well last week, got a big green arrow, but there's fires galore. Where's Fireman Sam? I need him. I need to put out some fires. I need to get those flags out on my team, but we'll deal with that soon. Right, first things first, Bournemouth last weekend, walk in the park. Bournemouth basically didn't turn up, did they? They didn't offer us any threat. It was so comfortable for Arsenal. I don't think we really got out of second gear, but we did score 4 goals and got the result on the south coast, which was the most important thing. Going into the game, obviously, there was a little bit of uncertainty regarding a few players. The press conference on Friday highlighted issues with Saliba, with Rice, with Saka. Thankfully, I came through with the goods, showed the community that they all travelled to the game. Pat on the back for me, thank you very much. It was a bit wild actually. I think I got something like 5 million blooming clicks on my videos on Twitter. Mad numbers, but thankfully I'm proud to have got it out for you. Hopefully you appreciated that, and yeah, if I could do it again, I'd do it every week for you. So Saka played anyway. He got a goal. He tapped in a little header, didn't he? Cross from Odegaard to the back post. Jesus nodded it onto the post. Saka was there, gave the old goal celebration with the head. I think he was as surprised as everyone when it went in with a header. I haven't seen too many of those, but started the day well. It could have had a result for the Saka managers. I think they'll have been quite frustrated at the end of the game, where we had 2 extra penalties and he didn't take any of them. Odegaard, he scored the first and then gave a pity penalty to maybe boost the confidence of Havertz later on. Hopefully it will, but on last night's showing in the Champions League, it doesn't seem to have affected him too much. I mean, he had a nice volley effort, side foot, didn't really do too much wrong, but didn't do too much right either, barely tested the keeper, and Havertz still looks a little bit short of confidence, certainly not gelling into that left 8. He's no Granit Xhaka, that's for sure. Anyway, Bournemouth, we did quite well. Raya was basically playing as a left centre back, letting Zinni inside, inverting next to Rice. Those two look great. Rice, with his progressive carries, is a phenomenal player. I'm so happy. West Ham fans, I understand what you've seen and saw and raved about for the last few years. Declan Rice is a leader. Last night against Lens, he was probably one of the best players who actually put in a shift last night. He looked hungry, he looked up for it, he looked like he was driving us forward, but he can't do everything. We're really struggling without the pace of Saka and Martinelli on the wings. Patrick Vieira, God, I've done it again. Fabio Vieira came on for Saka last night, and without Ben White overlapping him, there's just no threat going past the last man's, because he's just not got the pace to fall in behind. On the left we had Jesus against Bournemouth and Nketiah up top. No real surprise, they've been sticking together like glue on the left and right and up front, haven't they? Those 3, Saka, Rice and Saka, Jesus and Nketiah. Didn't do too much wrong. Nketiah, he linked the play well, but I think we might be running a bit short on him. He isn't scoring the goals at the moment. He brings players in, but he isn't scoring the goals. Jesus looks a bit lost on the left. And yeah, after last night's game, with Jesus playing quite well, at least initially up top, maybe we'll see some changes. Havertz is obviously an option too. So, in summary, I suppose we had a back 4 against Bournemouth of Raya, Saliba, White, Gabriel and Zinchenko. All did quite well, but really didn't get tested. Havertz Rice, Odegaard and Saka. Saka got injured again, didn't he? Went off injured, hobbling. Apparently nothing related to his new injury, which we'll talk about in a minute. And Jesus and Nketiah up front. I actually think this lineup will be similar to the one on Sunday against City. So we better go and have a look at that. We got the result anyway against Bournemouth. We're getting close to the summit in the league, and now it's time to focus on City. Let's go and do that. All right, let's go and do that. Cheers, guys. Right, so here's my team against City on Sunday. We've got some decisions to make. Raya could be replaced by Ramsdale, but I just think that Raya will stick there one more week. Saliba and Gabriel are essentially locked in the team. I don't see anyone displacing them this weekend, especially against City, so they're nailed. White I expect to come back after his rest in the Champions League. He had a yellow card hanging over his head, so that probably explains the rest, but without Saka ahead of him, if he's missing that is, we'll need someone overlapping and offering some pace in behind, and White does that, especially if Zinchenko, who I expect to be playing on the left, is inverting. So that's the back four. We've got White, we've got Saliba, we've got Gabriel, we've got Zinchenko inverting as usual. He'll be playing it in midfield, I guess, with, I am going to say, Declan Rice. So we've got Partey back from injury. He's been out for a month though. He's had 4 days training before the weekend match and another 4 before the game last night. So maybe a week and a bit of training all together. Is that enough to go straight into a game against Man City? I don't think it is, to be honest with you. So I'm going to stick with Declan Rice. If you actually look at this team, it's exactly the same as we played against Bournemouth, with Havertz in the left 8, Odegaard in the right 8, Saka on the wing if he's fit. We'll be watching the training videos, we'll be watching the photos, we'll be hearing in the press conference. I'm sure Arteta's going to be woolly as hell, and we'll just fingers crossed with Saka. After the game there were numerous sources, one saying oh it didn't look good, one saying he tried a back heel and it was related to that. Odegaard seemed to think that it might be okay, so fingers crossed Saka plays. And Nketiah I imagine will continue up front with Jesus on the left. Of course we could switch Nketiah with Havertz, have Jesus on the right if Saka isn't fit, bring in Nelson on the left and then play Vieira in the left 8. I don't mind those options, to be honest with you, but it all depends on Saka and whether he's available. Fingers crossed he is. It's not going to be an easy game. I know that Man City have got a couple of issues of their own, especially with Rodri out, which is a big help to us. They'll have a bit of an experimental midfield, probably Kovacic and the new guy Matheus Nunes from Wolves. They didn't do well last week against Wolves, funnily enough, but a big game this weekend. I'm predicting goals. I think there's going to be plenty. I think it'll be a score draw, unfortunately, and I'm predicting 2-2. We haven't beat them for a while. Getting this monkey off our back would be quite nice, but unfortunately I just think there's too much going on behind the scenes with our injury problems, and I think we'll probably be happy with a draw, although 3 points would be amazing before the break. So that's what I'm predicting. 2-2, Raya in goal, White on the right, Saliba with Gabriel, Zinchenko inverting next to Rice, Odegaard and Havertz in front in the 8s, Saka if available, and Nketiah leading the line with Jesus on the left. It looks like it's too soon for Martinelli. He hasn't trained yet. Trossard was a bit anonymous on the game against Lens, so he doesn't look ready either. I think that was more for minutes. And yeah, I just think we'll go back to basics and the team that beat Bournemouth so comprehensively last weekend. Fingers crossed anyway. Right, so that's my team, that's my lineup for City. I'm predicting a draw. It's time to have a look at my bus team for game week 8. I've got fires all over the place. Let's go and have a laugh at that. Okay, so here we are. It's my bus team for game week 8. As I said, last week was a bit of a success. I did use my free hit though, which wouldn't be advised to most, I suppose. It was a bit of a risky move, a bit of a punt. It did work out alright. I had a 1.1 million green arrow, which was fairly respectable, up to 400 138k. But this is where it gets interesting. Fires all over the place. Get the brigade out. Oh my god. Flag, 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 flag. What am I going to do? Estupiñán's flipping injured as well. Son hasn't trained. Saka is a doubt. Eze's out. Gusto's banned. And Botman probably back in game week 9. So I had intended on doing a luxury move of Alvarez to Darwin or Watkins. That's out the window. What was I thinking? Absolutely no chance can I make a luxury transfer with this pile of poo. So it's looking like Eze to J Ward-Prowse, possibly Bowen, but then I'm looking at bringing in Jesus in game week 10, and if I make the Bowen move, I'm not sure if I can afford him, so it's probably Eze to J Ward-Prowse. Estupiñán is also on the chopping block. I'm looking at Matty Cash. He's got a difficult game against Wolves, although they've got European commitments is the main thing for Villa, and also it's a derby. But Matty Cash's got a lot of attacking potential. He's quite cheap. He actually saves me a little bit of cash from Estupiñán. Peanuts, but every penny counts at this stage in the season. It's really hard this year with price rises, so that's probably what I'll do. I'll start with Areola in goal against Newcastle, both of them in Europe, hopefully have a hangover, play out a nice board draw, no goals there, and a nice clean sheet. Saliba's in defence, terrible fixture against City, not really predicting much. I was predicted 2-2, so yeah, it's a bad fixture, but my bench is garbage. I've got to play him, and it'll be Saliba against City this weekend. Estupiñán, he's on the block. I'm probably taking a -4 to get rid of him to bring in Matty Cash. He should be alright, and yep, Matty Cash next to Saliba. Udogie makes up the back three. I'm more than happy with Udogie. He's got routes to points. I'm actually happy with all my Tottenham players, regardless of the fitness issues with Son. They've got Luton this weekend, and I'm sure that they're going to be where I'm hoping for my main points this weekend. So Udogie, Cash and Saliba once Estupiñán's gone. In midfield, I didn't want to play Foden against Arsenal, but it looks like I have to because of so many fires throughout the team. He's joined by Saka, who's actually on fire himself, bless him. Hopefully he'll shake off his injuries and be able to play this weekend. If not, I'll have taken a -4 for Eze out to J Ward-Prowse, and he will step into the midfield instead of him. But fingers crossed for Saka. Making up the 4, it's Foden, I've got Saka, and then the 2 Tottenham boys, Son and Maddison. Now, captain material, I thought about it with Son, but his concerns with injury put me off. I think I'm going to have to take a step back from captaincy. Maybe I'll put the vice on Maddison and just hope that Son does the business, but not punt it that much with the captaincy. Which does mean, unfortunately, that Erling Haaland against my team Arsenal, he's going to take the armband. It's going to be a bittersweet weekend. I can taste the pain already. It's going to be grim, but Haaland did quite well against us last season. Oh God. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores on Sunday. Hopefully we still come out with a result, but yeah, I'm going to back Haaland against Arsenal, I think. Joining him in attack is Jackson. He's absolutely useless, isn't he? I don't know what that dance and sing-song was about. I don't know what came over me, to be honest. Anyway, he might have lost his place to Broha. He scored, didn't he, in midweek, so there's a bit of a risk with Jackson, but I really can't afford to take him out as well. If I do, it'll be for Darwin, and that'll be some spicy meatballs against Brighton. We'll see what happens. That will be if I'm really feeling quite punty going into the international break, but we'll see. Anyway, joining them to make up the 3-man attack is Alvarez. He's been really good, hasn't he? Scored a worldie last week from the free kick. We'll check their minutes in the Champions League, but at the moment he looks fairly nailed in that City side. It's against Arsenal. I've got triple City attack against Arsenal. It's gross, it's horrible. I'm probably going to have to roll it out though and hope that yeah, they return and Arsenal still manage to win. Good God, what am I doing? Anyway, that's my team. On the bench we got Flecken, old man Flecken. Didn't realise he is so old. He's looked useless. He might get dropped. I'm really not happy playing him, and that's why he's on the bench. Eze will probably become Ward-Prowse. Gusto still banned. Botman back in 9, hopefully. And that's my bench. No bench at all, really. And yeah, not much going for this team, is there? So I'm crossing my fingers, I'm crossing my toes. Who knows? If I can stay inside the top million, fair play. If I can get a green arrow, I'll be over the moon. I hope that you are ready for this weekend too. It's a bit of a nightmare with all the flags, isn't it? Especially with European night coming up tonight and tomorrow. If you're on a wild card, good luck with that. Good luck in general anyway, I should say. If you're still watching, amazing. Thank you for joining me. It's been a blooming weird week, but here we go. Game week 8, international break. Please like and subscribe. See you all soon for more Tommy Talks. Alright, thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye.